On the subject, and the Progressive People's Party is this morning holding a media briefing to, among others, comment on the president's decision to accept a Ford expedition gift from a Burkinabe contractor. Now, the president has come under severe criticism for accepting the gift, which many have described as a bribe, particularly after he, that is the president, had instructed his appointees not to accept gifts. But government spokespersons say the gift given the president does not in any way constitute a bribe. Let's go live now to the headquarters of the Progressive People's Party, where my colleague Raymond Akwa is standing by with some more. So Raymond, what do we know to be the subject matter for this very media briefing by the PPP?
As you stated earlier on, we are just commenting on the recent expose by John News of this particular gargantuan proportion. That is the issue that we are commenting on now. And the national chairman, Pres.Mahama, just started speaking on this particular matter. Right. We will take the details of exactly what he says and what the party thinks about the act in and of itself and what the implications are from him right away.
Indeed, Raymond. Many thanks for that update. So let's now join the feed from the headquarters of the Progressive People's Party.
To state our informed position on the issue. This week, Joy FM's investigative reporter, Manasseh Azuri, broke a story which import clearly hints of bribery. The story said emphatically that our president received a brand new Ford expedition car from one Umaru Jibril Kanazu, a Burkinabe contractor who had executed some Ghanaian contracts both in Ghana and his native Burkina Faso. Although official response from the presidency concedes that the president indeed received the $100,000 Ford expedition vehicle, Communication Minister Dr. Edward Pres.Mahama said it was a gift from the Burkinabe, Umaru Jibril Kamazu, who has agreed in a video recording interview with Manasseh that the Ford expedition was indeed a gift he offered President Mahama. It is interesting to note that Kanazu admitted in his interview with Manasseh Azuri that the Ghanaian president acknowledged receipt of the gift and thanked him on his generosity. The logical question is, gift for what? What benefit has Kanazu derived from our president that warrants that he, the Burkinabe, ought to pay back with a special car gift? Again, we find it really bizarre that Dr. Pres.Mahama's voice response was recorded at the secluded comfort zone of his office and given out to the media. Why did the Minister of Communication elect to adopt an unorthodox means to address the media? Was he cleverly avoiding the numerous probing questions that the story would legitimately inspire? That in itself undermines the standard and conventional practice where addressees of matters as important as what we currently have on our hands do in the full glare of the media, the general public, and in some cases, the international press briefings. It becomes possible for one to make deductions and even conclusions based on the body language, line of thinking, action, inaction, and reaction of addressee to situations that may arise at such press conferences or briefings. So what is Dr. Omani scared of? Yes, the communication minister might have tried rather skillfully to evade all such prying faculties. However, we believe the answers he offered on that recorded tape are rather doing him more harm and the president more evil than good. For instance, Dr. Omani claims that when the car was handed over to the president, it was, as convention demands, added to the vehicle pool at the presidency. What convention is Dr. Omane talking about? Is this not a convention that has momentarily evolved, and only within the past 3 days, when the car gift scandal began unfolding? Perhaps most of us Ghanaians are not privy to such unacceptable norm that has evolved over all this period to become conventional. What is more intriguing is that the registration details of the said vehicle are not found in the DVLA database. We find it necessary to ask the questions to the Honorable Minister if it is the practice or convention that registration details of the presidential fleet are deleted from the records of the DVLA. We need photographic evidence of the existence of the luxurious Ford Expedition car at the Flagstaff House. Indeed, if similar acts occurred during the tenure of Presidents Rawlings, Kufuor, and Atta Mills, for which it has now become normal to give cars and other gifts to certain presidents on the blind side of many Ghanaians, then Dr. Pres.Mahama owes Ghanaians a thorough disclosure. Indeed, there are other interesting scenarios that need thorough probing. It cannot be left to hang. It is interesting to note that the Ford gift came to Ghana in the same year Kanezu's company was awarded the contract for the construction of the bulletproof walls in Burkina Faso and the construction of the Dodi Pepasu and Kwanta section of the Eastern Corridor at a cost of $650,000 US and 25.9 million euros, respectively. Was it a mere coincidence that the 46-kilometer road was awarded in the 2012 just at the time that President Mahama was sworn into office after the demise of President Mills? The project was inaugurated by the President in April this year. It is important, and I quote, "I also want to take the opportunity to thank Messrs. Usmaru Kanezu Contractors Limited at Burkina Faso for the very high quality of work they have done on this stretch of road. As I have said, perhaps this is one of the best quality roads in Ghana today. And I will urge the Minister of Roads and Highways to bring other contractors to come and see so that they can emulate it in other parts of the country." End of quote. The same Kanezu was the man who was given the contract to construct a fence wall over a parcel of land owned by the Ghanaian mission in Burkina Faso. With these narratives so far, and the fact that the president would even sacrifice local contractors for the Burkinabe, we are tempted to believe media reports that contractor Kanezu had a long-standing good and personal relationship with the then Vice President Mahama, even before he became president. That relationship began flourishing way back in the year 2010. According to media reports, the president sent a high-powered delegation to the funeral of Kanezu's father in Burkina Faso in 2011. That delegation, we understand, was led by the former Upper East Minister Mark Wayongo. Neither Mr. Wayongo nor government has come out to deny that. We therefore take it to be the truth, nothing but the truth. We are very certain in our minds that the Burkinabe contractor gave the Ford Expedition 2010 model to the Ghanaian president the year he won the two contracts, because the two had established a certain bond that goes beyond ordinary friendship to working partners. In a letter dated October 29, 2012, and signed by the Chancery at the Ghana Embassy in Burkina Faso, Maxwell Nyankun, for the head of the mission and addressed to the Divisional Commander of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Paga border, to help to facilitate the easy passage of the vehicle to the Ghanaian president. It stated inter alia, and I quote, "I have been directed to inform you that the Ghana mission in Ouagadougou is assisting with the transportation of a gift donated to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, by Mr. Jibril Kanizu, a renowned contractor in Burkina Faso. The said gift is a Ford Expedition with engine number E173A190501 and chassis number 1 FMJU U58 AEB 748. I am to request the competent Ghanaian border authorities at the Paga border to kindly assist with the passage of the said vehicle and those transporting it without any let or hindrance. I wish to take this opportunity on behalf of His Excellency the Ambassador to express the mission's appreciation in anticipation of your kind cooperation." End of quote. The said letter stated explicitly that the said vehicle was a gift to President Mahama. It stated the type of gift and all other identification features like chassis number and the rest. Sincerely, we don't consider the act on the part of President Mahama an ordinary gift. In our estimation, it was a big thank you by the Burkinabe contractor for winning 2 big contracts that were offered him on a silver platter. Indeed, we consider it a blow against the war on corruption. The fact that the issue is in the public domain at least makes a case for poor judgment against President Mahama, and at worst feeds into a case of bribery. Corruption is a canker and a rot that robs the nation of over $1 billion every year and prevents the building of good schools, roads, hospitals, etc. So anything that hints of corruption must be condemned, and we unreservedly condemn the conduct of our president in the whole scandal. The BBC interview and our international image has been affected. What is more disturbing is that President Mahama not long ago was questioned about corruption and bribery by Peter Okocho of BBC last month in London during the anti-corruption conference that attracted global attention. Mr. Mahama was asked on Focus on Africa, "Have you been offered a bribe before?" "You mean as a president?" The president asked for clarification. "As John Mahama," the journalist replied. Apparently still unclear, the president asked, "As a human being?" "As a person," Peter supplied. The president explained that any human being in the world would have encountered corruption one way or the other, either being offered a bribe or a bribe being demanded from you. Peter Okocha interrupted him. "Mr. President, did you take it?" President Mahama said, "No, I haven't taken a bribe." These responses from the president subjected the nation to international ridicule, out of which the nation is yet to recover. President Mahama and the fight against corruption has been weak. The direct involvement of our president in this deal has compromised his ability to lead the fight against corruption. The President has violated his own code of conduct for public officers and the 1992 Constitution, Article 284 of the 1992 Constitution states that, and I quote, "A public officer shall not put himself in a position where his personal interest conflicts or is likely to conflict with the performance of the function of his office." The President must take immediate steps to redeem his image and that of the country. We therefore demand the following from the President: an immediate apology to the good people of Ghana for bringing shame and embarrassment to our dear country. The publication of his assets declaration forms completed before and after he became a member of Parliament, Minister of State, Vice President, and as President of the Republic. Submit himself to a public inquiry to allow for a full public disclosure on the circumstances that led to the award of the 2 contracts and the giving of the gift therefrom. The President should admit his inability to lead the anti-corruption crusade and therefore refuse to contest the re-election on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress. The President must put a freeze on the award of contracts in this election year until a new administration takes over in January 2017. The Progressive People's Party is giving notice that an administration that justifies such gift-taking cannot be trusted to give clean contracts during an election year. So it will not accept any new contracts given by this administration when it assumes power in 2017. We believe these and many others will help redeem the massively dented image of the presidency, which has been infected in many cases of bribery and corruption. This really feeds into our clarion call for all public office holders, including the President, to declare publicly their assets when they are about to assume office and do same when they are leaving office. If these were done, it would have been easy to know what the President owned before he became Vice President, and what he owns currently. We dare him to publicly declare all his assets. Commendation for Manasseh Azuri and others who have uncovered corruption. We commend Manasseh Azuri, Anas Amerial, Anas, Multimedia, and all who have joined the war against bribery, corruption, and other crimes against the state. We feel sorry for the people of Ghana who have suffered unjustifiably high levels of underdevelopment, poverty, and poor living conditions at the expense of corruption. Conclusion. The Ford vehicle saga calls for fresh and independent investigations into President Mahama's role in the abortive STX Korea deal. The foreign Burkinabe contractor must face independent investigation and should be banned from participating in all Ghana government contracts. We urge all contractors, Ghanaians or foreign, to take a cue from this and desist from giving so-called gifts to the President, ministers of state, and other government officials. We reiterate our position on the crusade against corruption and call for the national support for, as a matter of urgency, the need to separate the Attorney General's Department from the Ministry of Justice and separate Parliament from the executive arm of government. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. Thank you.
And that was National Chairman of the Progressive People's Party, Pres.Mahama, addressing the media there on that story we brought you, that exclusive story by Joy News. You did see that report by Manasseh Azuria when sometime back on Wednesday that has to do with a gift that was purportedly given to the president by a Burkinabe contractor, and the PPP seem to have quite a number of issues with that. They've been addressing the media on that. We'll be bringing you more on that in subsequent bulletins. But time now for us to take a break on Newsdays. When we come back, John Kujomako joins us with business. Stay with us.